Kick It Out has announced a new reporting relationship with the charity Her Game Too, with the aim of helping women feel more comfortable when reporting sexist and misogynistic comments at sporting events. It comes after research from Kick It Out that revealed that more than half of women have experienced such abuse on match days, and yet 85% don't go on to report it. For more on that, we're joined by Kick It Out COO Holly Varney and Priyanka Jasraj from Her Game Too. Good afternoon to you both. Let's start with those figures then, Holly. 52% experiencing it, and that's on the rise, which is never good news.
Yeah, of course, it is on the rise. The main thing for us is that we really wanted to put sexism and misogyny firmly on the agenda of football to make sure that it's an issue that we're held accountable to, but that we can actually do something about. So the research has been great in terms of telling us what women's experiences in football are. The next step is for us to address that and really take proactive action.
Tell us then about the reporting relationship and the roles that your two organisations have.
Sure. So we had individual reporting systems before, and it just made sense to kind of make them synonymous. I think with the establishment that Kick It Out are, and with Her Game Too being full of volunteers, it made sense to use that established reporting network, leaning into that, coming together and providing a more effective and efficient way of reporting. We at Her Game Too have a network of people across the country, ambassadors and advocates that represent the majority of the football pyramid. So we can really come from that personal angle, whereas Kick It Out with their team are able to actually action it a lot more effectively. So coming together just made a lot of sense.
This is a sort of note or statistic I had to have a second look at, because it surprises you that much. 3 in 20 cases of such abuse is being reported, with many respondents saying they didn't think it would be taken seriously or make a difference, which is incredibly low, and almost quite sad that so many people feel they don't feel the need or don't feel the purpose of doing something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. The main thing for us is that we want women to feel as though their voices are heard, and there needs to be a shift in terms of how people perceive sexism and misogyny. At the moment, some of the things we've heard from women is that it's often dismissed as banter when they challenge it or when they raise it, and people just aren't seeing it as a form of discrimination in itself. So we know that there's more work that needs to be done in terms of educating football fans and the wider football community on what sexism and misogyny is, how it impacts people, and then what they can do to address it. So yeah, whilst it is a really alarming statistic, it does give us the insight to say, well, we know that's an area that we need to do more.
I guess it's something for football supporters to think about as well. I was on a train going to a game on Saturday, and a big group of fans came off on Saturday. A small group of women who were, I think, going off to something like a hen do or a pub. And there was a bit of an exchange which could have been perceived quite by some people as harmless, but I think sometimes maybe a big group, I think you don't realise how intimidating you might come across at times.
It's definitely intimidating, I'm sure. I've certainly experienced moments where you're in a group of, particularly a large group of men, and you do feel a bit isolated. And one of the things that we have noticed from the research that we've done is the impact that has on people that are not only women, but also from an underrepresented group. So you're more likely to be targeted if you're a black woman, for example, or an Asian woman, or if you're from the LGBTQ+ community. So there's more work to be done in terms of addressing that. What we would say to those women in situations like you've mentioned, and what we would say to those seen through our research, is to report it to us. And I'm excited about the partnership with Her Game Too, is that it gives us a channel into more women and more female fans, and that will help us grow our audience in terms of women we want to reach, but it will also help us give us an understanding of what they're facing, and then we can obviously play our part in helping them.
Yeah, just to pick up on what Holly said there, 1 in 4 women feel unsafe at football matches. That number rises for among underrepresented groups such as black, Asian, mixed heritage, disabled or LGBTQ women. What other support do you offer?
We really want people to feel as though we're here for them. You know, we came together about 3 years ago in hopes to bring together a group of women that represented women in the country who love football. And we really wanted to emphasise that, you know, you're not alone. We're here to support you. We're here to do our best to fight the good fight with stamping out sexism where we can. But I think with how big our network is, we want to keep growing so that we can reach more people, we can touch more people, and we can just support them in the way that they need.
Tell us a little bit about the plans then for International Women's Day that's coming up.
We're really excited. We've got a lot going on. I think we've got 23 dedicated fixtures on Saturday, with more to come later on in the month and later on in the season as well. We also have our First Time Fans initiative, which is bringing together people who have not been to football before, whether that be mums, young girls, anyone that's felt scared or not comfortable being in that environment. So in collaboration with EA Sports and Circuit Hospitality, we're doing that across the country where we can. We rolled it out with a couple of clubs, and we've got 2 more this weekend at Liverpool and Plymouth, where we had 160 applicants of people just desperately wanting to go to their first game. And then live on Sky Sports on Saturday is Brentford Villa, which is also a dedicated fixture. Being a Villa fan, very excited.
Oh, you can stay. Well done.
We've had it signed off that all the players are going to be wearing warm-up T-shirts with Her Game 2 to show their support, as well as a number of other things that are going to be happening during the day. So stay tuned to the Sky Sports News socials, because you might catch us getting a bit of content on that.
Let's just discuss something, because it's almost apt, Holly, that you're on this afternoon, given that there's been a statement from Fulham about racist abuse towards Calvin Bassey yesterday in the aftermath of that game between them and Manchester United. I guess probably, again, the worst thing about it is it's become predictable that a back player has an impact on a game, and so often this is what follows.
It is, and we've seen a number of reports this season of abuse towards players. We know that racism is still a massively prominent form of discrimination in football. The challenge here is how that impacts the individual on the receiving end, so the player that you've mentioned in this case. So the first protocol is to make sure that he's properly supported and that he has the right support in place to continue doing the job that he's doing. The next step is, what can social media companies do more of, and that's where, for us, the Online Safety Act will play a major role in helping to address some of the abuse that we're consistently seeing across social media platforms. And then there's education. You know, the behaviour we see in society quite often plays out in other sports. Here we see it play out online, and people not feeling as though there's going to be consequences because of their online behaviour. So the Online Safety Act's important, education is really important, and clubs have a role to play in educating their fans as well. Just
very quickly, easiest question of the lot: Villa going to win the FA Cup?
Oh yeah, of course, and the Champions League.
Good answer. Thank you very much, Bianca. Holly, good to see you as well this afternoon.